And we're live, folks. I'm back with a new video. It says it all. And, yeah, the title. Let me stop this clicking in my ear first. But yeah, the title says it all. Peace and blessings to my soul family. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. I'm sending you guys amazing energy. But yeah, title says it all. We're going to break down the metaphysics behind Jesus Christ, specifically the resurrection and like the symbolism and what it actually means to what actually happened and whatever and whatnot. But and we're about to get into it now. So the metaphysics behind Jesus Christ and behind the resurrection, like how he rose, Easter, whatnot, all that. So in the Bible it says that after a few days, after he was beaten and crucified, he came back. He rose like a couple days later. And, they couldn't find him in the temple or wherever they buried him at. So yeah, I'm about to just like go in like on like a maybe like a literal sense, like what could have happened. This is just theories. It's theories, take it all as a theory. But I'm gonna give a scientific breakdown behind what may have happened or like what it means, what the symbolization is behind it. Symbolism is it. So yeah, so after like if he rose, let's say he rose after, he was crucified, they couldn't find him after he was buried. So with that being said, we can take this on a literal reality sense. Maybe we're going to take this theory, maybe he was beaten and he went into a coma and they didn't know he was in a coma. We could take it in that sense. But, that's boring. That's the easy route. So we're going to take it on a higher level, a higher perspective level. So when they say he rose from the grave after he was crucified, we all know, like on a spiritual sense, when we die, his body was gone. They took his body, they took his conscience, they took his body and whatnot. He's gone from the physical reality. But when they say he rose, his spirit shifted into another dimension. Your spirit never dies, your spirit never leaves the physical plane or the metaphysical plane. Energy cannot be destroyed, it can be created and reciprocated. So when we die, our spirit never dies. Our energy never dies. So when they say he rose into a higher dimension, a higher conscious level. When he died and he became the conscious, he became the Christ consciousness. And I'm gonna break down how we are higher than the Christ consciousness ourselves. But yeah, so when he died, he rose into his state of being, his true state of being. We go to wherever our state of being is, wherever we vibrate at when we die. So he rose into a higher dimension, a higher conscious level, a higher playing field, and he did not manifest physically back to earth. And with that being said, his energy is reciprocated throughout the earth, so it can be inhabited by anybody. What I mean by that, what did Jesus do? He healed people and he taught. He taught the word of God, everything. We have people today that do that, who have the Christ-like energy. I'm going to call it the Christ consciousness. They have this Christ consciousness, this Christ energy about them. So they teach people and they heal others spiritually, physically, emotionally. So that's one of his jobs. And people have inhabited that today. They have these powers today. They all call them prophets in the church. And we call them holistic doctors. This is what Jesus did. This is what a lot of deities did. Deities are just consciousness levels. They're just energies. They're just spirits. And how we're higher than the Christ consciousness ourselves. Let's think about the energy of sacrifice. He died for the sins of the people. The people that loved him or whatnot. That he loved. He saved us, like he sacrificed himself for God. God put himself in flesh and yeah, we got Jesus, and then he died for the sins of others and whatnot. We can go into that all we want, but yeah, just the symbolism of sacrifice. In the metaphor behind that. So when you sacrifice something, especially for the greater good, you're doing it for a greater good. So when he sacrificed himself, to be crucified, hung on the cross, whatnot, and die, he sacrificed himself for us to be higher than, for the people to be higher than him, the consciousness himself. Meaning that he did this so no one else would have to go through what he went through. And when you sacrifice something, He's doing it for the greater good of humanity, to save the people, to get them on the good side of God, aka passing down his spiritual blessings and powers to the people that come after him. So the people will be able to inhabit the spiritual powers that he possessed and that he used and whatnot to heal and to make the greater, to give spiritual powers to humanity for the greater good. You know, he passed on his spiritual blessings and powers. So yeah, that's the metaphysics behind his resurrection and his death, his crucifixion. So I'm about to get into the sole purpose of the Bible. So basically, the purpose of the Bible is how the devil became God himself. What do I mean by that? The Bible teaches you how to go from your lower animalistic nature to a higher angelic nature. So fighting off your demons. You know, they say like this, and that is a sin. Well, that's a low vibrational level type behavior, and it's cast out as demonic. I'm not going to get into the Bible as a whole. I'm just going to give it like what the purpose is for every religion and every spiritual doctrine and whatnot. It's supposed to elevate the people on a spiritual enlightenment scale so they possess the powers that they have. And I'm going to tell you like the real role of Jesus in the Bible as well. The real role of Jesus was for him to be a middleman and to guide the people to connect with God. I wish I had the drawing. Like, I wish I should have drew like the tree of life, because I was going to break that down. Because Jesus is on the 6th level of the tree of life, meaning that it's like 3 layers. It's like you, the person getting started, Jesus, then God. So the source to the creator or whatnot. And Jesus is the middleman between all that. He wants to help you build a connection with the creator, with God or whatnot. And you know, he wants to help you. He teaches through wisdom. His wisdom is healing. He heals others. He teaches others how to connect to the source. You, yourself, you're not really supposed to be following him, really. You're supposed to be taking that information and education that he's giving you and to take it and to connect with God. That's why they say Christianity is a relationship with God, because it's straight to the source. Meaning, Jesus is just the middleman. You don't need him to connect with God himself. You know, that's what the purpose of a prophet is, you know, to get you and teach you the ways of the creator and the ways to connect with the creator and how to, you know, not follow them or worship them. You know, as it's been said, Jesus said he was not the Messiah. He was not the Messiah. He told people he was not the Messiah and blah, blah, because he wasn't until he died. Technically, and that's when he became the Christ consciousness. But yeah, basically all these deities are just spirits in forms of consciousness, and we are higher than these deities due to what they sacrificed and whatnot, and the way we evolve spiritually and mentally and intellectually over the generations. So that's basically what it is. That's basically my theory for it and whatnot. Yeah, but yeah, the sole purpose of the Bible is how the devil became God. So how we fight from our lower selves to our higher selves, and how we do not give in into temptation and lower animalistic demonic natures, and to rise above it and go to a high angelic place and build our bodies and whatnot. So yeah, another thing about the resurrection, Jesus basically was building a heaven for himself, a church for himself, a morality system for himself on a 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional scale on earth. This is why he was healing others, and he was rebelling against what was wrong, and he was going for what was righteous. You know, he was just teaching people, and he was healing. Those are one of the highest vibrations you can give off to people, highest frequencies of love. Teaching and healing is one of the highest vibrations of love that you can give off and pass down to another person on this reality skin and throughout the universe. So he was building himself a heaven, his state of being, and that's where he went. This is where you go when you die, your state of being. So if your state of being is in a high vibration, you will go to a high vibration state after when you die. So basically, if you create a heaven for yourself in reality, you're going to create a heaven for yourself on the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional scale. Vice versa with hell and stuff. Heaven and hell are a mind state. So yeah, and what else? And we have to take the time to build this for ourselves. At the end of the day, this is theories. Well, you can take it as a theory. I'm just spinning what I have for the day. But you can take it as a theory. Don't take this as the whole truth, half truth, anything. If you don't want to. Just take this knowledge. I hope you learned something. Hope this was interesting. Hope you didn't get offended, but if you did, oh well. But yeah, peace and blessings to my soul family again. Shout out to all the indigos. We vibrate high, we bleed indigo. And I'm out. On to the next video. I love you guys. Peace.